Okay, year 7. It's not really the right way to learn science by doing it from books, otherwise we'd never have practicals. And so to keep you going at home, here's an experiment to try. And what I've got here is a jug filled with water. And so you could use anything at home that's that sort of height. I'll show you from this angle and give you an idea of the height of it. You can do this with a glass, but you have to be able to time, and a glass isn't particularly tall enough. And I've also got a grape. You could use anything like this. So you're going to put it in the water and drop it. So I'm going to put this in the water and I'm going to time how long it takes to fall down to the bottom. And of course, when I do this, I need to start a stop clock. You've got a stop clock on your phone, and you simply time how long it takes to go from the top of the water all the way down to the bottom. Now, to see it accurately at the bottom, your face has to be down there, because obviously you know when you're dropping it because your fingers tell you. And so if I was doing this on my own, I'd need my little helper. Don't laugh. I'm sure your mother buys you strange things for your birthday. And the idea here, I'm trying to prove to you, you need to be down there to take the stop clock stop time. Otherwise you'll get some very strange results. And I'm going to need a table of results, as always, as we do in the class. And the whole point of this experiment, the learning objective, is to measure the speed of drop in different water. You have to excuse my pen and the writing. The board pens aren't designed to write on paper. And my table of results will have 3 sets of headings. The drop, because I'm going to do more than one. I'm going to have the time for normal water, so I'll call it pure. And as always, put the unit in seconds. And again, another column, time, and this time I'm going to have salt water. And again, that's in seconds. Then I can frame that off just as we do in class. Again, I'm doing this live, so you're going to use rulers. You're going to do this much nicer than mine. I'm going to have 4 drops. And what you should do first is pause the video and construct your table. And then as soon as you're ready, so pause the video now and draw the table. And obviously I'm going to carry on. And so I then take my grape, I place it in the water, I get Mr. Stop Clock, get my perfect helper. You can do this on your own, you just have to have your face down there. And I use my watch and I drop this down. It goes down quite quickly, but the minute it stops, I stop the stop clock. I then have to get that out. A long spoon will work. I try to keep the water the same. I don't want to keep changing the water, otherwise that's another variable. And I used a long spoon earlier to get that out. You repeat that whole experiment 4 times. Each time you write down your readings as you would in class, and then take the same water, ask your parents' permission just in case they haven't got enough salt, 2 large spoons of salt, a dessert spoon is fine, and put 2 dessert spoons of salt in there and stir it in really well, and that will make your salt water. Take a grape, drop it again. And when you've done all of that, put that over there, move my table. Then in theory, you should be able to get a set of results. Mine looked like this. Excuse me, just got to get this set up. And in my results here I've got time, pure water in seconds. I had 0.79, 0.89, 0.86 and 1. So they varied quite a lot. And I repeated the whole experiment. On this side, just out of my camera view, is the drop number. And then salt water, I had 105, 110, 1 and 112. And it was obvious to me when I did this, there was a significant difference. And so the next thing you do down here, I put in an extra box here to work out the average drop. To do the average drop, I added 0.79, 0.89, 0.86 and 1, and I divided that by 4. That gave me 0.89. And I did 105 plus 110 plus 1 plus 112 and divided it by 4. I've got 2 average times here. So that's my raw data in place, and you can see there is a difference between the two. This is salt water and this is pure water. Did you get that sort of difference? I'll be interested to know. And then what do you do with this data? Well, coming across to the second side of my table, bear with me. So I'll come across to here, and we have these various measurements. What I decided to do, I measured the height of the water in the jug, 22 centimetres. 22 centimetres is 0.22 metres. Now the exam board will often ask you to do these conversions in science, and that's why it's important to practice this. There's 100 centimetres in a metre, so 22 centimetres is 0.22 of a metre. And then the formula we've used before is speed is distance divided by time. So what was my speed? For pure water, it was 0.22 because that's the distance. And the average time was 0.89. And 0.89 comes from down here. That's the average time. So I go back over here and I pop that in and I got 0.25. Repeat that for the salt water. Again you see here I have 0.22 divided by 1.07. I get 0.21 meters per second. So what we're saying now is that in pure water the descent of the grape is 0.25 meters per second. Look at the units, meters per second. Your exam boards want you to know that. But in salt water, the same grape in the same water, the only difference being salt, was 0.21 meters per second, and that was across 4 readings. So there is a difference between pure water and salt water, and you're going to need to ask a question as to why. And so for my last part of this, so the question, why does the grape fall more slowly in salt water? Excuse the way that's been presented, but the camera moved at the last minute. So why does the grape fall more slowly in salt water? And that's something you now need to go away and look at. Now this is a lovely experiment to try, and I would expect you to put this in your book with a heading, with neatly set out results, with a method. I want to know, how did you do the experiment for the most accurate results? Were there any health and safety issues? And then your conclusion is your answer to this. Why does salt water make the grape fall more slowly? And that's something you go away and research. And if to help you, go and research the Black Sea and see what that tells you about the water. And I look forward to seeing your write-up in class. Thank you.